Another day, and we're carrying on with this inner front wing repair on my Mk1 Jetta. As you can see, I've started cutting bits away. Here's a piece. There's basically the headlights around. I mean, it looks like a fairly solid piece along here, but as I explained before, this is a continuous section, and I didn't want to have to weld through all this detail here, and it's all rotten on these bottom corners. So rather than do little repairs here and here, just gone straight through a nice, neat, easily accessible point here, and drilled up the spot welds at the lower point, removing that as one. Also cut off some little bits down the bottom here. This will probably get trimmed back a bit further, but I didn't want to take off too much too soon, because you can always take away, but it's very difficult to add back again. And also expose some of this inner cross member down here. I thought I might be able to save some of it. I probably will. There are some holes in this corner, so given that I've got this bit of another Jetta, it might make sense to trim the section up here and replace this end bit while I've got this inner wing off, rather than filling it or dicking around with it later. So that's where we're up to here. And from the side, you can see I started trimming some rusty bits away. I did drill these spot welds in the end, so all the original front chassis member is still in place. Wire brushed it down a bit, and you can see these holes are starting to form, so I probably will have to replace this end section, but all the top bit's fairly solid, so I wouldn't have to replace as much of it as originally thought. The wing, I'm going to carry on cutting away to a logical point, and then do the same on this. I want to keep as much of this rail as I possibly can on this repair panel, because obviously I've got nothing on mine whatsoever. It's all completely rotten away. On here you can see where they've taken the repair panel, they've cut around the strut, which is a bit annoying. Would have been nice to have all that in one, but I've still got the top bit above it. So before I start dicking around with this, I really need to clean some of this rusty crap off, because I think the section I've got is going to take me up to about here, just before the rain tray. It won't fill in the gap here, but it'll have the top rail there. So when I come to replace this section, I can use the top rail from here and fill that from down there. So next job is going to be get a grinder and try and clean up this as much as possible, whilst hopefully saving my strut tower. But all this old bit here, this is all old weld repairs that are shoddy as hell, so I'm going to try and remove them as neatly as I can with a grinder and see where we end up. Once that's out the way, I can start trimming this top edge off, the rest of this, and then start trimming that down so the two line up. And hopefully we'll have one nice solid repair all ready to climb on. My voyage of discovery continues with this car. This line of metal here, you can see, is the inside edge of the strut tower assembly here. Now the inner wing is meant to spot weld to this side of that across here, but as you can see, got the remains of what the inner ring stuck on the outside here. That hole through there is the actual strut tower, and this piece here is actually stuck on the inside edge of that rather than the outside, and has been welded on. So how am I going to deal with this? Well, I'm going to waggle the crap out of it until it breaks off, I think. Like that. Not needing that. Right, what have we got here? Shit ton of work, that's what we've got here. Still, let's not get overly distracted. I'm going to clean up around this strut tower, but like I say, this is a repair for another day. If I start thinking about every repair when I do each one, then I'm just going to curl up in a ball and cry. So let's stay focused on this. We've now cleared enough space for our top rail section we've got. It's not going to be welded to anything for now, it's just going to be hanging there in the breeze, but when we come to replace this bit, that's when we can do all the alignment and work out what we're going to do with the strut tower. For now, I might just clean this up a bit with the angle grinder, and then we can crack on with this front bit again. So more and more is coming off. It's quite scary making repair panels that are this big when there's so little left to line up to. But I've used what datum points I can. I've measured again, I've measured on the repair panel. I've then made cardboard cutouts from both and lined them up, and it's there or thereabouts to the nearest millimetre, I reckon. So, got that one little section to cut out of here, and on my repair panel, got these bits to cut out of here, and that section to cut out the side. Then with a bit of fine grinding and trimming, we should hopefully be there. Okay, so we've measured again, we've ground a bit more off, measured again, ground a bit more off, and I have a front section of an inner wing. Okay, it's not welded on yet. I haven't even, it's not final fitment or anything. I've literally just offered it up, but yeah, it's pretty much there. I mean, all these edges need dressing in, so I need to run a grinder on them. You still see, so I've got all the burrs on it and everything. And obviously I'd left about 1 mil on either side of each panel, because I'd rather grind it away and make it fit than realise I've gone too small. So once I've run a grinder along these, see there's tiny little shut lines, but most of them are just because there's bits like this that are pushing it out of alignment. But otherwise, holy shit. Look at that. I am slightly pleased with that. There is a new bit of car on my crappy old car. So, yeah. Next up, dressing the panel, getting the fit just perfect. And I would say then welding it in place, but I've got a million things to do before that's ready to weld. It's got to clean up all down in here, which will be much easier with that inner wing off. But yeah, pleased with that. Happy days. Good news in the project. We like that.